What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another FPL Transfer Talks video on the channel. And in today's one, we are talking all things Game Week 17, and I want to start off by talking about the Manchester United assets, and more specifically Amad Diallo, Bruno Fernandes, Rasmus Højlund and Matthijs de Ligt. First things first, right, I do want to start off by talking about Amad Diallo because I do think he provides such good value for his price, only costing 5.2 million, and he's just in brilliant form. Ever since Erik ten Hag has been sacked, he's finally been given the opportunity to start games, and he is showing what he can do. He is performing week in, week out, not only for FPL but also in real life, and I just think he could provide, like I said, such great value at his price point. I want to quickly show you guys this before I talk about the fixtures, right? In terms of Amad Diallo's rate of returns this season, it's been really good. 9 Premier League starts and 9 Premier League returns, right? He's got 2 goals and 7 assists in just 9 Premier League starts, which is a fantastic return for someone of his price point. And since Ruben Amorim has taken charge of Manchester United, right, Amad Diallo has just performed in every single start, right? 1 assist against Leicester, 1 assist against Ipswich, 2 assists against Everton. He didn't start against Arsenal, but then came on off the bench at half time. He got another start against Forest where he got 1 assist, and then he started against Man City, 1 goal, 1 assist. He is performing, but also another thing that I absolutely love about Amad Diallo is under Ruben Amorim, he's getting 90 minutes. He's starting games and he's getting 90 minutes. So I think finally, guys, there is enough evidence, there is proof here that we can see Amad Diallo is going to be one of the first names on the team sheet for Manchester United. He will play week in, week out. He will get you those good minutes, and for that reason, I just think he's a fantastic FPL option, guys. Honestly, love him as a player in real life, especially as a United fan. I think he's so good on the ball. His IQ, everything about him is just pure class, right? Absolutely amazing player. And with these fixtures as well, guys, Bournemouth at home, Wolves away, Newcastle at home, Liverpool away is tough, but then Southampton, Brighton, Fulham, Palace, Spurs. I mean, I actually think Amad Diallo is potentially a season keeper. Maybe I'm going over the top, I don't know, but I honestly think because he's so cheap, right? When Manchester United have the tough games like Liverpool away, you're probably going to be in a position where you can just bench him because he's so cheap. So look, guys, in my opinion, I just think Amad Diallo is great value. I think he's better than the likes of Smith Rowe. I think he's better than the likes of Morgan Rogers. I think he's better than the likes of Anton Semenyo. All these other cheaper midfielders, I genuinely think Amad Diallo is now better than him. And look, I owned Amad Diallo at the start of the season, right? Because I thought Erik ten Hag would start him. Unfortunately, he didn't really a lot. But yeah, even when I owned him at the start of the season, he got me 1 goal and 1 assist, right? And throughout the time I had him. So look, I actually do think he's a really good FPL asset. But look, I could go on and on talking about how good Amad Diallo is in my opinion, but I would generally recommend just transferring in this player, man. I just think he's so good, so good. But also, I do like Bruno Fernandes as well. Of course, with Bruno Fernandes, again, another sort of just reliable player, right? I've already spoken about, Amad Diallo and his reliability, and I think Bruno Fernandes is the same. He's going to start games. He's more than likely going to get 90 minutes. He's on penalties, on the corners, on the free kicks. I mean, he's got so many different routes to FPL points, and I just think that's why Bruno Fernandes is such a good asset to have, especially in this new Manchester United system with Ruben Amorim. We look a lot better as a team. There's more patterns of play, and I just think Bruno Fernandes has performed really well since Amorim has been in charge, and I just think that makes him a much better option for FPL because yeah, like I said, man, the fixtures are good. Multiple routes to FPL points as well. The minutes, everything about him really as an overall FPL asset seems to be quite good for me in my opinion. So he's another player that I think is just absolutely fantastic. And look, I want to quickly talk on Rasmus Højlund as well, because this is someone I'm not saying to get him yet, but just keep an eye on Rasmus Højlund, man. He's someone that I've got on my radar because the only doubt I've got about Rasmus Højlund is, will he get rotated with Xerxes? And if he does, how often will that be? Because I think if Rasmus Højlund can nail down a starting spot, right, in this Manchester United team, and we can rely on him to get 90 minutes or near enough 90 minutes and start week in, week out, I think, again, he's another fantastic option. And guys, if you were to ask me right now, for Manchester United, who are the players that I would look to, or who are the players that I would go to get us FPL points and to score goals and assists for Manchester United? It's going to be Amad Diallo, it's going to be Bruno Fernandes, and in my opinion, it's Rasmus Højlund. If he starts, he will be involved in the goals and assists, in my opinion. I think he's a good penalty box striker. His finishing is really good. He can strike a ball well. If he does get the chances, which I do believe he will get the chances if he can start, I believe he will score goals. I really do, especially with the good fixtures. So I'm not necessarily saying get him yet, but I am just saying keep an eye on him, because if he does start, because recently, guys, as you can see, right, since the Arsenal, he started the Arsenal game, he started against Forest, and he started against City. So which that is good signs, especially because he did get benched in the Europa League game as well that we played against Victoria Pleasant. I don't really know how to say the name, but yeah, he got benched in the Europa League game that we played, which is also another positive sign for the Premier League, right? And then in that game where he got benched, he came on and scored 2 goals. So I think it's looking pretty decent for Rasmus Højlund, right, in terms of him being the starting number 9 for Manchester United. And if that's the case, I think at his sort of price point, 7 million or 6.9 million and 1.7% ownership, I think he could be a massive differential. That is not my look. All I'm saying, I don't think there's Manchester United bias in this as well, guys. This is honestly this is just my genuine opinion based off what I've seen. So look, I think Rasmus Højlund has potential to be great. So just keep an eye on Rasmus Højlund. Let's see if he get those starts. But also quickly, before I do end off the Manchester United segment, Matthijs de Ligt, right? If you're looking for a defender, I go for Matthijs de Ligt, because right now he is like the only defender that has started every single game. I do like Mazraoui. I do like Dalot as well, to be fair. I think Dalot has also started, but he's a bit more expensive. He's 5.2 million, but ultimately who you go for is completely up to you. But I'd say de Ligt and Dalot, they're like the 2 players that you can sort of rely on to start every single game. So yeah, I also think defensively we're looking pretty decent as well. We're really poor on set pieces. That's our biggest weakness. Set pieces is like sort of where we can see the most of our goals from, and also just like goalkeeper mistakes from like Onana every now and then. But overall, right, in terms of restricting opposition from creating chances, since we've appointed Ruben Amorim as our manager, we've done that a lot. So that's why I do like our defenders. That's why I've got Mazraoui in my own team, because I think, yeah, defensively we are good, but I just say be wary, man. If we're up against a team that are good from set pieces, we're going to most likely concede, because we are poor from set pieces. I will admit that. But overall, defensively, I think we've improved a lot. Our defensive structure, our defensive setup is a lot better compared to when we were under Erik ten Hag. The spacing between the centre backs and the midfield is much better. We keep the ball as well. Like, defending isn't only just sort of defending without the ball. You know, you can defend with the ball, and we hold into possession a lot better and a lot more than we did under Erik ten Hag. So look, for me, I think Manchester United have improved a lot, and I think their players can provide I think their players can be really good FPL assets. So that is just my overall opinion. I've probably waffled on for far too long, but it is the first time I've got to speak about Manchester United players in FPL. So yeah, it feels good, man. But let me know your thoughts on these players like Ahmad, like Bruno, like Højlund, and a Man United defender. I'd love to know what you guys think. But with that being said, let's go ahead and move on to the next players. All right, guys. So I wanted to talk to you about some Ait-Nouri replacements, because as you guys know, he did get sent off in the last game against Ipswich, so he's not going to be available for the next 2 Premier League games. So with that being said, I'm assuming a lot of you guys watching this video that do own Ait-Nouri are looking to take him out and transfer him out. Now, who do you go for? Well, I'm going to tell you guys the very obvious answer that I feel like a lot of people in the FPL community are going towards. I would go for Robinson, right? That is like my favorite number 1 option, as I'm sure you guys probably predicted that anyway. Yes, it may be a bit template, but I do still think, you know, it's template for a reason. I just think Antonee Robinson is a really good FPL asset with great fixtures coming up. Yeah, I really do like Robinson because of the attacking threat that he gives you, man. Overlapping, he's a very good overlapping fullback, likes to get a lot of crosses into the box and can provide some really good attacking threat throughout games, and that does explain why he's got 6 Premier League assists so far this Premier League season. So yeah, I really do like him as a player, and Fulham defensively as well are pretty decent. So yeah, all in all, I really do like Robinson, and like I said, guys, the fixtures are fantastic, and Southampton at home is a brilliant entry point to bring in a player like Robinson. So for me, I would just be going for Robinson as a genuine like long-term hold. Starting off with Southampton, then obviously Chelsea away is tough, but then Bournemouth at home, Ipswich at home. Like the next 3 of the 4 games, I mean, 3 out of 4 games, right, are really good. 3 home games, 1 away game. Can't really complain with that, to be honest with you. And then after Ipswich, it's West Ham, Leicester. United is tough. Newcastle's tough. But then it's Forest and Palace at home. Then Wolves and Brighton. So overall, I think Robinson is a really nice long-term hold. And I would just be looking to go for him, right, as a replacement for Ait-Nouri. I also do like Levi Colwill. As you guys can see, again, I just think he's a good long-term hold. I think, again, the long-term fixtures, just like Robinson, are really nice. Starting off with Everton away. I know it's away from home, but Everton this season going forward aren't good at all, right? So I don't really mind that as an entry point for Levi Colwill. So yeah, all in all, the long stretch of fixtures are really nice for Chelsea and Levi Colwill. So he's another option that you could have in your team as sort of like a set and forget. I also do like Munoz. Munoz is again another really nice player to get that you could replace Ait-Nouri with. Of course, he is suspended for the game against Arsenal, but I wouldn't really bring him in game week 17 per se. I'd wait till probably game week 19. This is thinking a bit more, longer down the line. Obviously, if you've got Ait-Nouri and you want to get rid of him now, probably doesn't make sense to bring in Munoz, but I'd just say keep an eye on Munoz because I think, his attacking threat is really nice. So yeah, I do like Munoz as an option. Now, another thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about is sort of defender rotations, right? So since we're on the topic of Ait-Nouri replacements and defenders in general, I would recommend, right, I really do like this rotation of Mateus. So the Bournemouth Manchester United rotation, right, works really nicely, and you can get some good fixtures with this rotation. So if I show you guys now, right, Mateus De Ligt, right, let's just take Mateus De Ligt and Kerkez, for example, right? So the Man United Bournemouth rotation from game week 17 onwards does look pretty decent. So you would start off with obviously the two teams playing against each other. Bournemouth at home for Manchester United, so you probably go for De Ligt. So, and then in game week 18, when Man United have Wolves away, even though on paper that's not too bad, you've then got Bournemouth in game week 18 playing Crystal Palace at home, right? So that's a very nice fixture there. And in game week 19, when Bournemouth have Fulham away, you've got Manchester United playing Newcastle at home, which isn't too bad. And then game week 20, when Man United have Liverpool away, you've got Bournemouth playing Everton at home. And then in 21 and 22, when Bournemouth have two tough fixtures against Chelsea and Newcastle, you've then got Man United playing Southampton and Brighton at home, which is really nice. And look, the fixture rotation just does work pretty nicely long term, right? So that's why I really do like Mateus De Ligt and Kerkez as a defensive rotation. So if you are sort of looking at what defender rotation you could have in FPL at the moment, then I would generally consider the Man United Bournemouth rotation. And that's also because, right, if I show you guys this expected goals conceded table for the last 6 game weeks, right, Bournemouth defensively are looking pretty strong, and to be fair, throughout the course of the season, I think they've looked pretty strong. But also Manchester United as well. Like I said, since Ruben Amorim has been appointed, defensively we do look better. Our only weak point is really the set pieces. So as you guys can see here from the expected goals conceded table, Arsenal sit top, then Everton, then Bournemouth are in 3rd, and Manchester United in 5th. So you are actually rotating between two solid defenders, solid defensive teams, in my opinion. So yeah, I would say definitely have a look at this rotation. It could provide good value and they could get you some good FPL points, in my opinion. But ultimately, I am no expert, of course, so yeah, you don't really have to listen to what I say, but it is definitely something to keep an eye on, in my opinion. Alright, so I quickly wanted to talk to you guys about Joao Pedro and whether or not you should be looking to sell him for game week 17. Now, first things first, for me, it sort of depends on what your team structure is looking like. Because if you're in a situation where you've maybe got 2 mid-price strikers, like an Alexander Isak and a Nicholas Jackson, for example, and you've only got 1 cheap striker, which in this case it is Joao Pedro, then if you're in that position with Isak, Jackson and Joao Pedro, I think I will be looking to sell Joao Pedro and possibly go to someone like a Raul Jimenez, for example, because Fulham just have a really good fixture run, and I just think it makes sense, right? If you've only got sort of space for 1 cheap striker in your team, that you make the move now and switch from Joao Pedro to Raul Jimenez, because I just think this is a really good entry point. And Fulham, like I said, when talking about Robinson, Fulham have a really good fixture run. However, what I will say is that if you're in a situation, right, where you've already got Raul Jimenez and you've got Joao Pedro, I don't really think it makes sense to be selling Joao Pedro, to be honest with you, because I don't think apart from Raul Jimenez, I don't really like any of the other options, and I feel like it's a pretty sideways move, right? If you were to go for someone like, I don't know, a Jamie Vardy, a Strand Larson, and an Eva Nilsson, even a Wissa, for example, with the fixtures that Brentford have, I just feel, to me, it feels like a sideways move. I don't think it's necessarily worth a transfer, especially because Brighton do play against West Ham and Brentford in the next 2, who are pretty weak defensively. But like I said, that's only like if you've already got Raul Jimenez. And also, to be fair, if you've got like a 5th midfielder that you can rotate Joao Pedro in and out of the team, with, then I actually don't mind holding on to Joao Pedro. So it's really just circumstantial. It really just depends on your team setup and sort of the players that you have. But I would definitely be looking to buy Raul Jimenez as a replacement for Joao Pedro, because I just think Raul Jimenez, you know, in that Fulham team, in that Fulham system, with his goal threat, yeah, could be a really, really good buy in my opinion. But look, since we are on the topic of Fulham as well, guys, I actually did want to speak about just the Fulham assets in general. So obviously I've spoken about Robinson, I've spoken about, you know, Raul Jimenez being a good pick in my opinion, but I also do like Alexander Iwobi as an option. I feel like he can definitely provide good value, and I would be looking to transfer him in as well. I do prefer him over Emil Smith-Rowe, to be honest with you. I just think, you know, the minutes are better, the goal threat is better, the assist threat is better in my opinion. So yeah, he just looks more likely to score an assist compared to Smith-Rowe. So yeah, I really do like Alex Iwobi as an option for a Fulham midfielder or a Fulham attacker. 5.7 million, only 4.7% owned as well. So yeah, I think all in all, like so far this season, Iwobi has done just fantastic, right? He's done really well. So yeah, I would definitely be sort of just keep an eye on Iwobi. If I was to rank the Fulham assets, it would definitely be sort of, I think, Raul Jimenez number 1, Robinson number 2, and then Iwobi number 3. But all in all, I think the Fulham assets are really good. Really do like Raul Jimenez, really do like Iwobi, and really do like Ait-Nouri Robinson. So yeah, they would be my favourite Fulham assets. But look, in terms of like Joao Pedro, like I said, it's circumstantial. It kind of depends on your team setup. I think there are definitely arguments for and against selling Joao Pedro, but as I said, it ultimately depends on your team setup. But look, with that being said, guys, that is going to be it for today's video. I really do hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure you do smash a big thumbs up on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Turn on that notification bell so you never miss an upload. But guys, that is it for today's video. I hope you did enjoy, and I will catch you in the next one. But until then, I'm out. Peace.